guys, the update 41 patch notes are here, and I'm going to be going over them in depth. I'm going to be giving my opinions on a lot of it, and a lot of the opinions you might agree with, you might disagree with, but let's keep it to civil comments only in the comments below. I would appreciate that as much as possible. So without further ado, let's get on with the patch notes. Alright guys, update 41 patch notes are here. This is going to be patch 9.3.0. So basically what we are going to get is 2 new dungeons, new item sets, and achievements and titles. The name of the DLC is going to be Scions of Athelia. I think that's how I pronounce it. If I did it incorrectly, I apologize. The update 41 base game, we're going to be getting unified repair kits. So it basically means in Cyrodiil, we're going to be getting the door repair kits, the wall repair kits, the siege repair kits, and the what was the other one? Like what you repair like gates and bridges with. I forgot what they're called. Anyways, they're all going to be the same thing now, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. It's all going to be the same thing. So in my opinion, that's a nice quality of life change. Is it the best change to ever exist as far as advertising that as the #1 slot in the base game? I feel like that's a change that should have happened years ago. But hey, it's happening now, so that's fine. I feel like to advertise that at the top of the list is just shows the lack of content for this update, but we're gonna keep on moving on. I don't want to get too negative to start off with. Stackable siege weaponry, so stacking all your ballistas and stuff, I think that's a good change. It gives a lot of space for your inventory, and I think that's a really good change. I'm happy with that as well. I think that's more of a quality of life kind of change rather than advertising that as a big patch update, but again, who am I to say otherwise? New rewards of the worthy. There's 1 or 2 sets that look interesting, but besides that, I'm not really too interested in it. I'll go over them soon enough. New antiquities, which I'm gonna be honest, guys, don't get your hopes up. It's literally the worst antiquity I've ever seen in my life. New collectibles, I don't care about that personally. New increased undaunted key rewards, which is a cool change. I'll get to that in a second. New homes, which I think homes in this game are a scam, and I think that they are the biggest source of it's the biggest scam in this game as far as stealing money from the player base. I hate it when they come out with new homes. New furnishing, same thing. New container icons, don't care. Don't care about this, don't care about this, don't care about this, don't care about this. Anyways, let's move on. So we get 2 new dungeons, which, okay, that's perfectly fine. That's kind of the bare minimum recipe that ZeniMax has when it comes to a patch nowadays. We haven't gotten a new dungeon in like 2 or 3 patches at this point now, but again, it feels like we're back to the old formula where we're getting 2 dungeons and that's basically it as far as new content goes. I know that quarter 1 is supposed to be kind of laying the groundwork for what's to come later on in the year, but in my opinion, I feel like it should be more than that, since the difference between quarter 4 of 2023 and quarter 1 of 2024 is the longest we have to wait between patches. I really feel like there should be more than just 2 dungeons as far as new content goes. I really am kind of disappointed in that overall, but again, at the end of the day, I know that some of you guys like dungeons. I know that you guys like going for the trifectas, hard mode, stuff like that, so I understand it. I'm not upset with 2 new dungeons. I just wish that there was more, if that makes sense. So that's fine. Moving on, let's look at some of the new item sets. This is from Bedlam Vale, which is one of the 2 dungeons. The light armor set is max magic, healing done, max magic, and increases the strength of your damage shields by 13% to targets 15 meters or closer to you, and increases your healing done by 13% to targets 15 meters or more away from you as well. Or 15 meters away from you, not or more. That's cool. I feel like that'll be interesting for Magsork. Does that count for you as well? I think it does. That's cool. Is it the best set in the world? I don't think so, but it's all right. I'm not gonna be upset about it. The medium armor set, this is actually the set that looks the most interesting to me out of all of the new sets that are coming out this patch. Tarnished Nightmare, it is 3 lines of critical chance, and when you deal critical damage to an enemy, glass shards burst 8 meters around them, dealing physical damage to enemies in the burst, applying the Sundered status effect, dealing additional physical damage, and applying minor breach for 4 seconds, reducing the target's physical and spell resistance by 3k. This effect can only occur once every 8 seconds, and the damage scales off of your higher weapon or spell damage. So, I think that's a really cool, really nice amount of damage. You get really big like burst damage kind of with that. You get minor breach, so your enemy's a little bit more squishy. And overall, I just think it's a really interesting set. I want to try it on a few different classes. I think Sork looks interesting with that, like doing like a Stam Sork, but also like a DK kind of would look interesting. I don't know. It kind of looks interesting, and I want to check it out. This is definitely the set that looks the most interesting to me out of all of them, but is it the best? I don't know. We'll have to test it and see when it first comes out. Heavy armor, Reflective Fury, max health, max stam. When you taunt an enemy, you gain a stack of broken shards for 5 seconds, up to 5 stacks max. You can gain 1 stack every 1 second. When the broken shard ends, you release the stacks in an 8-meter blast, dealing physical damage to enemies hit, applying major main to them for 3 seconds per stack of broken shards consumed, and reducing your damage done by 10%, and that scales off your max health. God damn, that's so much to say for just saying it's a useless tank set. That's it. It's just a useless tank set. I remember when these 5-piece sets weren't whole paragraphs. I remember. Anyways, the monster set as well is the blind, and it's critical chance, and critically healing yourself or an ally grants them a Hydroglass damage shield that absorbs up to 2,600 damage for 6 seconds, while the damage shield holds, and for 3 seconds after it ends. The target gains a minor force, increasing their critical damage up by 10%. Do I have to say it? That's useless. That's so bad. Moving on. These are the sets from Oathsworn Pit. Light armor is Cinders of Enthelmir. Line of offensive pen, 2 lines of weapon and spell damage. On dealing damage, summon a cinder moth for 8 seconds that chases the target and searches for a new one within 8 meters if the initial is slain. The first enemy that gets near the cinder moth causes it to stop and burst after 1 second, dealing flame damage and applying the burning status effect to enemies within 8 meters, and that can occur once for 8 seconds and is based off of your higher weapon or spell damage. So, a few things. One, I need to see what the tooltip is for this. I want to see if this is actually a higher tooltip or what. It doesn't give it in the patch notes, so I don't know how it is. On paper, looks like an interesting set. It looks like an interesting proc set. I'd be down to check it out, but I want to see what the tooltip looks like before investing in something like this. So, we'll have to see. Medium armor, Slothrug's Hunger. Stammer Cove, weapon spell damage, offensive pen. Healing yourself or an ally makes your target blood hungry for 3 seconds. Dealing direct damage to an enemy makes them bloodied for 3 seconds. Bloodied enemies take 4% more damage from and deal 4% less damage to blood hungry targets. No, not good. Heavy armor, Black Grove Grounding. Healing taken, max health. After taking direct damage 3 times within 5 seconds, you create a 5-meter area for 10 seconds. You and group members who touch the area gain grounding for 15 seconds, reducing the cost of roll dodging by 20%, increasing block mitigation by 12%, and that can occur once every 10 seconds. Yeah, I mean, cool. It's different. Is it good? I don't know. I don't think so. Anyways, the next monster mask is Enthelmir's Construct, which I actually thought looked kind of interesting. Adds weapon spell damage, attacking an enemy with a fully charged heavy attack, throws an axe at your enemy, dealing physical damage and reducing their armor for 5 seconds, and that can occur once every 10 seconds. And the damage and armor reduction is scaled off your higher weapon spell damage. And the axe is dropped to the ground after traveling to your target for 5 seconds. Touching the axe reduces the cooldown of the set by 5 seconds. So, it's cool. You can reduce the cooldown on it as much as possible, and I want to see how much the tooltip is on this before actually investing in something like this. I don't know if the physical damage and armor is going to be any good or not, but it is the most interesting looking one. I like getting those extra sources of damage, and it would be something that'd be open to trying. The titles, I don't care about. Cake connoisseur. I want that one. Dude, I want to be a cake connoisseur. Bro. You guys know what I'm talking about. Unified repair kits. I think these are good changes. Is it the best change in the game? Is this the kind of change that really is a headliner? I don't think so. So basically keep door repair kits, keep wall, mile gates, and siege weapons. They're all going to be the same thing now, which, cool. I feel like that's a nice quality of life thing. But like I said, is it a thing that's going to be a highlight? No, I wouldn't put it up there, but hey, that's just me. Also, same thing with Cyrodiil siege weapons being stackable. I think that's cool. Do I think it's the greatest change that ever exists? I don't think so. Rewards are worthy. A lot of them really don't seem that great, so I'm gonna kind of skip this because I've got a lot I want to discuss on this build still, and I see those videos already going over a little bit. I'm just gonna go over this one, Oakfather's Retribution, because this is the only one that actually looked interesting to me. It's 3 lines of weapon and spell damage, and then gain 449 offensive pen against enemies for each major buff they have active. Also, you gain 20 weapon and spell damage against enemies for each minor buff they have active as well. So the buffs honestly stack pretty nicely, because basically everyone always has major resolve up at all times, so that's 1. Major brutality and sorcery, so that's 3, because usually buffs are both nowadays. And then if you use tripods, you get all 3 of the recoveries, so that's 449 times 6 off the rip. I think it looks interesting. But besides that, the rest of them didn't really look that great. I want to go over this mythic with you guys that is insane. Torque of the Last Aelid King. Guys, we haven't got a new mythic in how long, and this is what we get. Disable all other item set bonuses and increases your damage done by 20%. Reduces your damage taken by 20%. And increases your healing done by 20%. So basically, you don't get any sets on your gear, on your persons, but your damage done is going to be increased by 20%. Is that good? No! What are they thinking? This is... Okay, stop. I'm trying to be positive. I'm really trying to be more positive. I really feel like they add things to this game that just don't need to be added to this game. I don't understand the point of this. For PvE, I don't understand. For PvP, I don't understand. I don't understand where this is going to be useful. If somebody can please tell me a situation where this is going to be useful in the comments below, please tell me, because I don't understand it. I don't understand. Where is this going to be good? Sorry. Anyways, moving on. I like this change. For the DLC keys, they're going to change it so that instead of getting 1 key, you get 2 keys now. If you do it on Veteran DLC dungeon, you get, instead of 2 keys or 1 key, you can get 3 keys. And then same thing with Veteran Hard Mode, you can get up to 4 keys, which I think is interesting. They're a little bit more challenging than the normal dungeons, so I think it's really cool. And plus you get more keys for it, so I'm cool with that. All right, new homes. Again, I find homes to be very predatory, and I don't like them in this game. I find them to just be a cash grab for players, and I'm not a big fan of it. New furnishings, again, the same thing. I don't really care about it. New container icons, cool. If you guys want to read any of this, please feel free to pause the video at any point, but these are just not things that I really care about. Font rendering, prologue quest, I don't really care about any of this. They're reducing the cap of what you need for your PC specs, so they're basically lowering your PC, what you need on the PC spec to be able to use it now. So cool. What else we got? They're reworking the way Sork works, and honestly, none of it really felt like it was too crazy of a change. If we're looking at it, let's go over it right. Like, these were all the changes right here, but I'll go over it more down below because they actually go over it in detail. They're changing a lot of the way status effects work. So like burning, reducing the damage of the status effect by 6%, and the value is used to share the standard power of all of the status effects. So cool. So reducing the damage of burning, fine, but chill, they're increasing the damage of that they're increasing the damage of the status effect by 106%. So I think that's going to be really good for Mag Wardens. I think Mag Wardens are really going to shine next patch. Concuss increases the damage of the status effect by about 106%. So again, that's awesome. And then it deals additional 15% of the damage to targets that have recently been concussed. So that's really cool. I think that the status effect meta is going to be very interesting. They're doing the same thing for disease, increases the damage of that by 88%. It also deals additional damage in a 6-meter radius around the target, applying minor defile to all enemies nearby. And that can occur once every 4 seconds. So again, that's a nice change with the status effects. It is gonna get crazy, I think, with those next patch if we keep those. Hemorrhaging reduces the damage of the status effect by 58% per tick, which honestly, that's not bad. I'm cool with that. Hemorrhaging does a lot. And then also the effect can stack up to 3 times now. So again, it increases its damage by 100% per stack. So again, the 58% really isn't much if you have it stacked. Overcharge, increase the damage of the status effect by 106%. Cool. Poisoned, reduce the damage of the status effect by about 30% per tick. Again, that's fine. And then Sundered increases the damage of the status effect by 106%. Also, it also increases your weapon and spell damage as well. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words at this point, but again, you see the point of what I'm saying here. Major minor vitality update. These buffs increase the healing received to damage by 6 to 12%, rather increases them by 8 to 16%. So again, just changing them a little bit as well. So basically, we're gonna get to the changes in the class abilities now. So Arcanist, the beam on Arcanist, the damage is getting nerfed by about 7% per tick. That's fine. They're kind of reducing Arcanist a little bit. Is that the area where I would personally reduce it? No, but yeah, to each their own. I find Arcanist PvP, like the damage in there, to be kind of okay. It's not bad. It's kind of carried by procs. So this is more of a PvE change, if anything. Psychic Legion reduces the passive increase to apply status effect by 250%, down from 75%. So that kind of makes up for the status effects. Cool. Rune of Displacement increases the radius of this morph to 10 meters up from 8, so that's cool. Helps it helps that because it'll help the visual effects. Also, it's a bigger radius, so that's always awesome as well. Apocryphal Gates, I find that skill to be very useless in PvP personally. Dragonite. For combustion, the passive now increases your damage done with burning and poison by 20 to 40%, or basically 40%, up from 33%. So again, more damage. That's awesome. Also, the passive now grants 1,000 magic and stamina whenever you apply burning or poison, rather than granting you magic for burning and stamina for poisons. I think that's a really good change because Dragonite has been kind of being shadow nerfed every single patch for I can't even tell you how long as far as the sustain goes. I've been having incredible difficulty sustaining on Dragonite lately, and I think this is one of those changes that are going to really help Dragonite kind of get back into that S tier category. I think Dragonite has been really solid for really long, but lately I feel like it's been really lacking sustain, and I feel like this combustion passive is kind of gonna bring it back a little bit. Is it gonna make it the best? I don't know. We'll have to see, but I think it's really nice, to be honest. I like Dragonites, so I know that not everybody does, so this is my personal opinion. Engulfing Flames, the morph's flame damage taken debuff now scales off of the highest offensive stats rather than your additional weapon or spell damage, so that'll make the maximum value harder to reach for non-damage dealers overall. So again, I think that's really cool. What else? These are just issues. Necromancer. ZeniMax, please listen to me on this one. I mean this in the nicest way possible. Everything that you've done to Necromancer this patch, you're wrong. I mean this in the nicest way possible. It doesn't feel like there's any changes with PvP in mind. So the magic version of Blast Bones has been reworked. So the magic version doesn't, when you summon the Blast Bones, it doesn't go to your enemies anymore. It goes to you. And so when it goes to you, you're going to get a 20% damage bonus buff to your Gravelord abilities and your damage over time abilities, which your Gravelord abilities are terrible for PvP. They don't work really. They're just, as far as a kit for Necromancer goes, it just doesn't exist. All the skills in there are PvE based skills. They're abilities that you just hit at a single target or at a stationary target. It just doesn't really work. Necromancer, every source of damage that it's had has been slowly taken away from it, slowly but surely, and I don't understand the direction that it's headed in. First, Harmony was gutted to, I don't understand what Harmony is doing nowadays. Nobody uses it. And then Boneyard was nerfed at the same time, so it made Harmony Necros just completely useless. So I don't understand what we're doing in that situation. And on top of that, now we're gonna get rid of the morph of Blast Bones that does more damage. We're taking away every single source of damage for Necromancer, and we're wondering, why does nobody play it in PvP? It's because it can't do anything. It has no kit. It has no sources of damage. It has no built-in buffs. Necromancer is the only class in the game that doesn't have a built-in major brutality or sorcery buff. Every single other class has it, except for Necromancer. We need more buffs to the kit of Necromancer. It just doesn't make sense that it's been this far in the game, and it just doesn't do anything. I think that this change to Blast Bones is useless, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's the kind of a change that is made for PvE builds and with absolutely no thought for PvP in mind. The other morph of Blast Bones, yeah, it stays the same, but it doesn't hit nearly as hard as the magic version. So what's the point? And then, on top of that, Necromancer, which is the worst class in the game, hands down for PvP. Anybody that doesn't say that Necromancer is the worst for PvP, I just stop listening to them completely, because there's just no point in listening to them anymore. They're just wrong. I'm sorry, that's just a fact. On top of Necro being nerfed, since it's already the worst class in the game, we're buffing Nightblade, which is without a doubt the best class in the game as far as single target burst damage goes for PvP. We're buffing the damage of Incapacitating Strike, increase the damage done of this enhanced version of this ultimate by 10%, and extending the duration of its effect to 12 seconds from 8. Why? This ultimate is cheap. It hits hard. It gives you everything you want. And we're increasing the damage of it by 10%. Somebody please make it make sense, because I don't understand it. I don't understand it. This class has already been buffed every single patch, and now we're buffing it even more. Incap does not need a buff. It needs a nerf more than anything. And on top of that, Concealed Weapon, this morph now deals 10% increased damage at all times, and it deals an additional 10% damage for 15 seconds after leaving stealth or invisibility rather than gaining Major Berserk. So you can get that additional 10% and Major Berserk now, and this morph's minor expedition and conditional requirements now persist through bar swap. So now you're even faster at all times as a Nightblade. Now you're hitting even harder because your Concealed Weapon gets a 10% damage buff and your Incap gets a damage buff. I don't understand who's in charge of making these changes. Whoever has played PvP at all within the last 3 months can tell you that Incap and Nightblades in general are the most broken class in the game. To have an Incap just at base in the current patch, update 40, hit for about, I don't know, 12 to 15k on average on normal players. Now it gets a 10% damage buff. Then you have a bow proc that hits about 20k on average on most players as well. You're telling me that this class needs a buff? I'm sorry, but I don't understand. I really don't understand what these changes are. I don't understand who decided, yeah, this is what we need. Because at this point in the game, if you're looking at this for a PvE side of the game, then we need to change the game up to have it so that a lot of your skills, sets, all this stuff is based off of battle spirit. Because this is going to ruin the game as far as having so many more Nightblades around. It's already bad enough as it is in Update 40, and it's going to get worse in Update 41 if things are not changed. So these are my current opinions on this, and these other skills, you know, they're not really big changes in my opinion. The cripple changes, siphoning strikes, they're not really big changes. But anyways, moving on. So Sork is a little bit changed as well. Sorry, I got really heated for a second on the Nightblade stuff. I'm really passionate about that. I really feel like Nightblade does not need a buff. I really feel like it needs a nerf. So in case now gets Major Maim to for enemies for 10 seconds. So that's great. I don't know. I just feel like this is they're just trying to turn Sork into a healer set now, like without pets, rather than really having you just spam burb all the time. Conjure Warp, you know, it's not bad. It'll now heal you for 15% of your max health or magic if no pets were shielded by the ability. So that's cool. But they also changed it. I might have missed it at some point. They're changing it so that major and minor defile can affect shields as well. So I think this is just a good way to combat that as well. On top of that, let's keep on going. Daedric Mines, it's not bad, but I just don't really think it's anything special that's really going to change the game. And then one of the last big changes that I'm going to go over is Warden. I think Warden's going to really shine next patch. Reduces the potency of this passive by 50% for Glacial Presence, as the chill status effect received a huge increase. Overall with this roll, you get a 60% damage increase between both these changes. So again, I think that Warden gets a little bit of a nerf from this, but with a chilled status effect being increased, it's overall a buff. They kind of did it so that it didn't get too strong. But Northern Storm, which is huge, I always run this on my back bar, increases the damage of this more by 50%, which is huge. And then activating the ability now grants 50 weapon and spell damage for 5 seconds each tick, up to a maximum of 9 times. So you can get 450 weapon and spell damage, rather than increasing your weapon and spell damage by a flat 300 for 30 seconds. So that's awesome. It's a great source of damage, and I really feel like Wardens are going to hit really hard. Magnets are really going to shine next patch. Inner Fire, I don't really care about. All this stuff really doesn't matter too much in my opinion. This is what I'm really excited about as well. Stinging Slashes, which is Master's Dual Wield. This sets damage done bonus now scales off of 20.9% of the higher weapon spell damage, rather than offering a flat bonus based off the item level up to 1635. So again, I really feel like this is awesome because it's going to get a damage reduction in most situations, and I really feel like Master's Dual Wield needed a nerf. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy about that. I think that's a really good change. But I think that's mostly the patch notes. Everything else is just like fix an issue. All right, so those are my opinions on the patch notes. I kind of got a little heated there with the Nightblade stuff. I apologize, but overall, I kind of feel like it's lackluster. I wish that there was more. I wish that there was more communication. I just don't like the direction that they're going with Nightblade being buffed. It's so tone deaf. Same thing with Necromancer being nerfed. So tone deaf, and it just doesn't make sense. And if anybody can, please make it sense in the comments. I would really appreciate that. But to me right now, I don't get it at all. I really feel like Necromancer needs significant changes as far as the kit goes, and I don't think that that is the direction to go in, but what do I know? But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy the video, please don't forget to like the video, comment down below. It would really help me out a lot. Also, subscribing to the channel always means the world to me. I also have a bunch of socials, my Instagram, Twitter, my Discord if you want to join. I stream on Twitch 5 days a week. If you want to follow me on any of those things, I have a TikTok as well that I need to post more often on. If you guys want to follow me on any of those things, I would highly appreciate it. It is very free to do so, and it is a great way to support your friendly neighborhood streamer. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.